we all age over our lifetimes, and what are you really looking to address? So Nelly DeVust is a brand that's been around since 1946, 72 years on the market. Most people are not familiar with it because we're not a brand that actually is distributed heavily in the marketplace. We're looking to identify ourselves with professionals that are trained in either aesthetics or medical or wellness. So any facility that I actually go to, maybe a naturopath, holistic practitioner, an MD, plastic surgeon, esthetician, so on and so forth, right? So the goal for most consumers is, well, what are you gonna do for me? And as a treatment line that's been around for 72 years, I think we're pretty successful to be around for 72 years, right? I would say so too. I've worked with Nelly now personally for 25 years. I'm the Director of Education for the US market. So most of my life, I'm training people or educating or doing events like this where I can educate the consumer. In the last year, we introduced 2 new divisions of Nelly. One of them is actually this particular set of formulas. If you can share that, please. I have just a limited amount of these brochures. You have one from yesterday, so if you can just share it for the moment. He doesn't need it. He might be a little too young to be here, actually.
Yeah, he might be a little too young, Balesta. You think so? He's gonna be okay? Cause it's gonna get graphic.
This is a pretty graphic conversation.
You see where he's at.
Okay.
Okay. So he's on the internet searching for lots of stuff. This is a wellness line for feminine hygiene. So when we talk about the correlation between who you are internally, and externally, everything should balance together. So there is a little strip that Miss Thelma will give you. It's called the pH strip. You have the strips there?
They're in the back in the room where you had put them yesterday. On the shelf. The light's on the left wall if you can't see it.
So the pH strip is for you to be able to test yourself to see where your pH lies. So this is a personal decision for you to make. If you don't want to know your pH, well, what can I tell you? Don't do it. It doesn't matter. He doesn't have a vagina.
Absolutely not.
You have one from yesterday. There you go. And for you as well. So look at the color chart. You'll see that how, in the color chart, which starts over here, where we have pink arrows going up towards 3.8 to 4.1. This is the pH scale for a healthy vagina for our female consumers. So technically, most women that are talking, if you even understand what pH is, most people understand the pH of their pools better than maybe their bodies. So the pH of your gut should be pH 7. The pH of your blood is 7.3. The pH of your vagina should be 3.8 to 4.1. And the pH of your skin should be 4.5 to 5.5. So they're all different states of acidity. Nothing is alkaline. Only one thing is neutral, and that's your gut. So when you drink your water, which should be a pH 7, it matches your gut, so your body says, I'm not being stressed. You have alcohol, it's actually going to make you more acidic, right? So it can create digestive stress if you're on the sensitive side. So the challenge for a lot of people is, where are they in the scale? So we have these pH strips that are made for us in Germany. So these are not found in the US. So if you want to put this into your brochure, the color side inside the brochure, so it's not going to be dampened. What you will do is insert the color between the major and minor labia, which are the folds, and you're testing the mucus that you're discharging from your body. So if your mucus is actually in a normal range of 3.8 to 4.1, lucky you, you're healthy. You don't need anything, right? But if you're using something that's actually acidic or damaging to your body, like a soap. Somebody told me they used Ivory Spring today. Who was it? Was it you? No?
She
Was it
might
you?
have.
I use Dial.
Dial?
Yeah.
Okay, so all soap bars, as an example, have a pH of 9. Right? There's Dove that says it's a pH 7. Okay, we'll talk about that. Right? Did you get one? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Did you want to be the model?
Yeah. I said,
No, you don't.
females test their pH. If you're on the alkaline side, greater than 4.1, between 4.1 to 4.2, the yeast that we have in our body, which is Candida albicans, right? It's naturally occurring in all human beings, males and females. It turns to mold, which is what a yeast infection is. So we know exactly the range, 4.1 to 4.2, that a woman has the potential for a yeast infection. So we do have a solution for yeast infections. It's called Zone Control. It's there in your brochure. It'll kill the yeast within 1 to 3 days, 99.997%. So the challenge with a lot of women is they don't know what choices they should be making, or they go to their doctor and the doctor is recommending a prescription, a drug, and that can have a systemic effect on their body because it affects your gut. You have digestive stress now, so the balance is even more problematic. So the challenge also for a lot of women is when they talk about this delicate area, every woman as they age will potentially become more alkaline because you're shifting estrogenically. And as you get into perimenopause and menopause, where the estrogen is really dropping in comparison to your testosterone or your progesterone levels, then you will potentially become drier, more irritated or sensitive in that area, and the skin itself, the labia, can break, and that makes it obviously very uncomfortable. So people that we have that do waxing, like bikini waxing as an example, we see women that are doing it in that area becoming a bit more sensitive with the procedure, primarily because their pH is out of balance. So test yourself so you know exactly where you're at. And the very back of the brochure will actually have little square boxes describing what condition you may have or not have, and the products that would be relevant to the condition. So this gets into what organic actually really means. If you look at your brochure at the very front, you're going to see there's two little symbols, one saying EcoCert and the other one saying Cosmos Organic. And underneath it you're going to have three other symbols. One that says gluten, right? Gluten, vegan, right? And GMO free. So with a lot of women, the choice is, what do you want to put into your body? Is it going to be a healthy formula, or is it going to be a chemical formula, or is it going to be something that's going to contribute to more irritation? Again, it's a personal choice. There's a lot of women that use Summer's Eve, myostatin, they have yeast infection, they go to the doctor, they get a prescription, and they go with it hoping that it's actually going to help them. So we're suggesting to all of our female clients that if you want to think about a choice, this is actually Health and Welfare Canada approved for the Canadian market and FDA approved for the American market. It's not made in the US. So the certification for organic is a European standard. Cosmos Organic, which is on the top, or EcoCert and Cosmos underneath it, that is a standard specifically for cosmetics. So we classify this as a cosmetic because it's a topical. It's not going into your body. So if you're using any of the formulas, a couple of them may slightly be maneuvered internally, only because the yeast is thriving between the folds. So the clear color that you should be with regards to mucus may become cloudy or white, and the discharge can become really, unfortunately, even gangrene looking, like a dark green color. So if you have that condition, then unfortunately you have a yeast infection. That's pretty bad. We don't have anything for UTIs though. There you need to go to your doctor. Good? Mm-hmm. So why is this really important? Because this reflects this reflects this. So if you're actually more acidic in your gut, you're probably going to have an issue with your skin, because the imbalance here triggers an imbalance externally. So in terms of skincare, we look at it being the largest organ of the body, and then we decide, well, really, what do we want to choose and how's it going to make a difference for us? There are 10,000 or more skincare lines on the market. That's a lot of choices for you to consider. And the challenge is, based on what you're looking for, are you actually going to have satisfaction with the things that you're using? So historically, people buy things or use things that either their mother or father or sister or brother or some relative used before, and since they're similar to that person, they think it's also good for them. So if you're using something that's more harsh on your skin, as an example, right, you may create an issue with the way the skin is functioning, and you may actually trigger another condition to occur. So the challenge for people that have darker skin tones is the melanin is dominant, and because it's more dominant compared to somebody that's a lighter skin, you have actually a natural sunblock. It doesn't mean you can't get old, right? It's just that you have a natural sunblock that offsets some of the radiation that somebody with lighter skin will not have. So it's absolutely a must that somebody with lighter skin, if they're interested in offsetting radiation and doing anti-aging, that they use something with a sunscreen component. Make sense? Right? So I want to try something on all of you. First, do anybody here, I know some of you may already know what micelles are? In your palm, please. Rub it around in your hand, please. Did I do it with you? Okay, I did it with you as well. This is what you used. So you wipe it around and you wipe your hands. So micelles are magnets. It's a molecule that is a magnet to attract water, oil, and dirt. And this is also going to kill bacteria. So if you didn't want to use, and you got this yesterday, this was your cleanser, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you
So,
too. Oh, yeah.
did you like it?
Yeah.
Yeah? Rub it right on your palm and then wipe your skin. And you use it on your face already. Your skin feeling okay? So this is for hypersensitive skin. So if I'm dealing with anybody that has any issues with eczema, psoriasis, cancer, right? This is actually going to be a great cleanser if you want to use it with or without water. So if you use it without water, you're not actually stressing the pH of your skin. So for an individual that has more dry skin, as an example, where you're not producing any oils, this might be a great solution for you because you can get rid of buildup without creating any stress to your skin. Unfortunately, what most people are sensitive to is actually water. And the reason is because of the chemicals in the water, not because of water by itself. So when you think of all the things that people dump into water, right, where do you put your detergents? Right, it's not going into the soil, it's going into the water. So the source of pollution that we have sometimes in large cities in the water may create another stress to the skin that is problematic with regards to having healthy skin. Going back to the skin though, the largest organ of your body that reflects everything going on the inside. So getting back into the pH of your gut for a second. Get pH strips from the pharmacy, Walgreens, CVS, whatever. And the pH strips for water, right, will have a yellow or green color. And you're looking to test your urine or your saliva, and that will tell you what your gut is, which should be pH 7. And if your pH 7 is good here, good for you. You're working just fine, right? And if it's not, then you need to think about what you need to bring into your body that's going to create a more alkaline state, because you're probably acidic. Acid reflux, heartburns, right? Eating foods that are actually irritating to your skin, those can all create issues with regards to imbalance internally. So the micelle feels good, right? So this is the first anti-aging line that we have that's organically certified by Cosmos. We use the green background because the reference here is the planet. All these products can go into the groundwater, it will not affect the ecosystem. This is actually a vegan line, gluten-free, hypoallergenic, dermatologically tested, free of dyes, chemicals, paraffins, or parabens I should say. You didn't get any?
She had a question.
You have a question?
Oh, yeah, I had a
Oh, sure.
I wanted you to finish
No.
your thought.
I never shut up, you have to ask.
So how would it treat radiated skin?
So the thing with radiated skin is what you don't want is anything that compromises the skin, because radiation will stress the actual barrier function. So if you have anything that has a chemical, like a perfume is an example, which is found in a lot of products on the market. Perfumes will be a natural irritant primarily because most of them are synthetically derived. And even if you were to have naturally occurring fragrances, they can be too harsh because you're trying to perfume your product to mask something, and that compromises the skin. Notice this has a very light scent. The smell of it, if you can smell it at all, is actually from acerola, which is actually vitamin C, right? So vitamin C is a natural antioxidant. It helps with things like blackheads and buildup. So if you're using it as a cleanser, it has other effects. So the reason you would use this without water is because your skin is dry, or you're lazy, right? So if you're compromised and your skin is being compromised by the work or whatever you're doing, you have it by your bed, in your car, whatever, and have some cloths that you can put on your face, and then, put the product on your face, take the cloth and remove the residue. so there's no residue left on your skin. Touch your hands, feel how smooth it is, right? So it's a magnet molecule, that's what a micellar molecule is. So it attracts water, oil, dirt, but it also in this case is bacteriostatic. And we have another one for acne in the blue line, which would be relevant to those people that are breaking out, right? So you want to prepare your skin. Because the unfortunate thing with most of us is we don't actually floss our face. Because we don't know what to use. So when you're not going to rub this in, just leave it for a second. So this is called a gommage. Gommage is a French word meaning to rub. So in aesthetics, is this the hand you did yesterday or was it the other one?
Someone did this one.
So when you actually put this on the skin, what you should be doing is actually spreading it out like a mask. So just spread it out. Notice it has a very sticky texture, right? And if you smell it, it also has like a citrusy smell. Again, another form of vitamin C, baobab in this case.
Now, what is this for?
This is an exfoliant. So when you
For
your face. So when you put this on your skin, you put it on clean skin, and you really want to very gently massage it into the skin. What you're trying to do is to penetrate a clay that's in the formula called bentonite into the pores. So if your pores are large and you have blackheads or the buildup, you want the clay to go into the follicle because the clay is a negatively charged particle and humans are positively charged. So when you actually massage it into the follicle, what's ever in the skin will actually start to lift progressively to the surface. It's a magnet, another magnet. So you get sticky because in the formula there's an enzyme derived from birch trees. And the enzyme is going to start to break down the glue that binds your cells together. It's sort of like when you want to strip the floor wax, you need a solvent. So the enzyme is the solvent. This is safe for all skin types, can be used around the eye area. So the challenge with people that actually have things like radiation or any sort of chemical service, you have a saturation of the chemical potentially in your body. Obviously we can talk about the liver, we can talk about the visceral fat that will accumulate the chemicals internally. So this is for outside. But when you actually put it on the skin and you continue to massage, it'll disappear and then it'll start to look very shiny. And that's actually the halfway point. What that does at that halfway point is release a molecule called an oleosome, which is a molecule that replaces synthetics like mineral oil, which you find in Vaseline, right? It also replaces things like dimethicone, silicone, which you find in a lot of your hair conditioners, your moisturizers that you buy over the counter. They're that false sense of smooth that people get when they buy those things, right? So the whole point is not to have something that's going to block your pores, but you continue to gently rub, and the bentonite will start to lift the impurities out of your skin. So your skin will physically start to peel. And the peeling is the color that lifts off. So if it's gray or muddy, that's the toxicity of your skin you're looking at.
So you're actually exfoliating as you're
Rubbing,
rubbing.
right? So the word gommage, to rub off.
So
What are you
just
trying to
have
rub off? You have to be
so you
patient.
do.
You can do your lips, you can do your eyes, you can do your whole face, your neck, your chest, your hands, anywhere that's exposed, right? Normal use of this is once a week for the whole face. Twice a week would be for the areas where you have more buildup. So when I did your evaluation, if I said you have buildup in your forehead or your nose, that would be the second time of the week. Because unfortunately, the buildup is caused from what's going on internally. When you're done completely, there's no peeling, just compare your hand to the other hand. You'll see a difference in the color. Because you lifted off a layer of dead skin. You like? Yes. So there's a lot of women that say, oh, my hands are getting old. Yeah, because you're neglecting it. So you can use this actually anywhere that's exposed. It's to get rid of the buildup.
Anywhere on the face,
Face,
on the body.
neck, chest. If I actually have somebody having a surgical procedure, open heart surgery, appendectomy, I actually have them use it in the area where the incision is going to occur, and I would have it use it once a day for 1 to 2 weeks. That actually will have the effect of 2 microdermabrasions. So that will actually have an effect in terms of healing, because the whole point is to reduce the potential for keloiding. and almost all people of African descent have a potential for keloiding. Most Europeans, if they're olive toned, can have a potential for keloiding, because it's usually to do with the poor circulation. They usually have a weaker peripheral circulation, cold hands, cold feet, right? So the whole point is to get rid of buildup so you can get stuff into your skin. What are you doing? You're buying soap, but you're not brushing and flossing, right? So the equivalency is really, if you have a good cleanser, that's terrific, but a cleanser is only limited with regards to what it can do. The exfoliant goes a little step further, and notice there was no burning, no stinging, no irritation. But you have to be gentle.
Once a week.
Once a week.
Once a week.
And it's a relatively inexpensive product for you. You're talking about $1.25 per treatment, right? So it comes in a 1.7 ounce size a day. And when it's completely done, your skin is clean technically. This is called a deep cleanse. So I'm getting rid of the buildup that's actually within your follicle. So going back to the stages of life, when you are 0 to 12 years of age, more than likely you don't need this, because your skin is already turning over very quickly. It's shedding like a snake to grow into a human being that's going to be big potentially, right? So this rapid turnover, which we call cellular mitosis, right, is occurring because it's a natural state for humans to have. If it's not natural, then they may have other issues, like eczema, psoriasis is a hyperactive state of the condition. So if there's a condition you have where you have an hyperactive state, I would suggest not using this, because your skin is unstable and you need to address why it's unstable. Is it your immune system that's out of balance? And we don't want to create a negative impact on your skin. Just because we can give you a great product doesn't mean it's the right product for you. You understand? Right? So the Gamage is brand new in terms of what's available in the market. It's only been out for literally 2 years this month, and again it has the organic certification. So at 12 years of age, when the skin starts to evolve and the person becomes more acne prone maybe, if you have any individuals that are actually predisposed to having acne, this is the first medical grade certified organic acne formulas in the world. Thelma actually has the first medical grade certified organic chemical peels in the world to do treatment. And we can use those chemical peels for all skin colors any time of the year. So we can use it for acne, we can use it for pigmentation. It won't unfortunately help you with your tags, but it'll help to lighten the skin. But it can be used for a variety of things that most people have regardless of their ethnicity. But the main thing with acne is when you look at the way the skin changes over 2 months, down here, you can see a difference in the skin, right? So these are actually manufactured in Canada, in Montreal. In Canada, we can actually get an added certification, which is called the Natural Health Product Number, and that actually is issued by the government once they've tested the formulas and deemed it safe for the consumer. So the challenge is, which government do you believe? Right? So in the US market, it's the USDA certification. In Canada, it's Health and Welfare Canada. In Europe, the European standard is called Cosmos Organic. So this currently is the highest level of organic certification in the world, because it goes beyond food. It goes about the things that you're putting on your body and potentially some areas of your body that may be more delicate. So we have the acne line, we have the wellness line, and we have the anti-aging line. Those are the 3 formulas that you can actually look to consider. Justine, can I just borrow your brochure for a second, please? Because you have it there, I just want to show you guys something. So this brochure, for those of you that I gave it to or I spoke about, the reason why I'm giving you this brochure is because this identifies the classic formulas we have in the line, which means they've been around, some of them, for quite a long time. So this talks a little bit about the company. Thelma Carroll has these, so if you wish to have one to read, you certainly may. So, started in 1946, an organic skincare line where the active ingredients are plant-based. So we have 3 different components in the red line. We have a vegetarian component, we have a pescatarian component, and we have the gluten-free vegan component. The vegan components are the ones I just went through with you. So when we talk about pescatarians, meaning that there's a fish component, if you see in the literature anything that says the DNA from salmon, that's actually pescatarian, right? They usually have the words life cell or lifting. And technically, for those of you that want high-end luxury, we're actually using the sperm of the salmon, not the roe of the salmon. So you're actually having an effect on your cells with regards to how the internal structures of a cell are actually aging. They're called the mitochondria of the cell. So we're targeting the mitochondria of the cell. So when you get into this, I didn't want it to be a complete science class, but cleansers and toners are described in these brochures. Moisturizers, serums, oils, extracts are also described in this brochure. And this is where the challenge is for the consumer. What do I need? Because it's overwhelming if you don't understand it. You go to the back of the book. It tells you what your skin type is. And it tells you exactly what would be suitable for that skin type. And if you're just getting a couple of things to start off with, because with some of you, I just gave you a couple of ideas to think about. I don't want you to be overwhelmed. She's had the product line for many years. She's your guide, right? But that gives you a synopsis of what can benefit you the most.
Is there a different effect for black skin versus white skin when you use the product?
Well, the thing...
Results.
Actually, so the challenge usually with black skin is that their aging has to do with pigmentation. White skin can have pigmentation as well. But with white skin, you see all the other substructures actually becoming more aged, like your capillaries as an example. Not to have black skin.
Probably on the white skin.
Yes, because you don't have any melanin.
Right.
Right? So if I actually look at your skin compared to somebody that's darker skin tone, a black skin can still have dark circles because it actually has to do with how blood is not draining. Right? So if I'm going to introduce something to affect somebody that actually has that condition, then obviously I want to get something that gets into the skin. The challenge with darker skin tones, most darker skin tones, which could be Asian, Chinese as an example, blacks, Spanish, they are genetically predisposed to a heavier outer wall. The epidermis is thicker. So they don't actually get anything going in unless they actually do some kind of invasive procedure. And sometimes that's more damaging to the skin. So this is where the exfoliation being used more frequently to change the texture of the skin in terms of becoming a little bit thinner, so you can also get absorption into the skin. So this is called the follicle, where the hair is coming out. And the follicle is a natural opening in our skin. Per square inch, there's 1,000 follicles. So the challenge is actually to get rid of the buildup within the follicle. If you have your hair in the follicle, it's another obstacle. So if I have people that have androgen disorders, right, they have face hair, it's going to make a difference with absorption because you have another barrier blocking the follicle. But if I can get my formula into the follicle, I can move it laterally into your dermis. And the science we use is the technology of distillation called the diadermic method. So it's about getting things into your skin, not just moisturizing your skin. So if I make your skin feel nice and smooth with a dry skin cream, I did what I told you I was going to do. I didn't promise anything more. Right? The whole point is really what are you trying to do to address whatever specific concerns you are. So vanity is a very personal thing. You know, some of us are really hung up on like, I want to be perfect. Well, if that's what you want to do, good luck on that. But the challenge is wherever you're going in the direction that you want to go, the whole point of having these tools, we much like understand the difference between a mop and a broom. Right? They don't do the same thing. You just need to know which tool you should be using for the right situation. So if we're using products according to the skin type or skin condition, there should be change. Right? So use an example, very expressive with your forehead.
Mine?
Yes, you.
Say that again?
You're very expressive with your forehead.
You mean I have more wrinkles?
That's expression wrinkles, right?
Expression.
And that's where we need to differentiate because she also has expression wrinkles. If you look at her forehead, she too has
And
the
what do you
wrinkles.
do for something like that?
So this is the challenge with...
Not Botox,
No.
okay, but-
We actually have we actually have a neuropeptide in the green line that helps to progressively. This is the anti-aging line. That's actually it's a serum that you use to progressively relax the muscle
You would just use it for the forehead?
wherever you have the wrinkles.
Oh,
So expression wrinkles are different than regular wrinkles.
somewhere around here.
Yeah. So regular wrinkling for most individual is dehydration, like what we were talking about, right? So dehydration is sort of like crepe paper. You smile, you see the little crinkles. Expression wrinkles are deeper, and it's actually because your muscle is being utilized, and the skin literally is curtain fabric. So if your curtain's very thick, the lines look deeper. If your skin is thin, the lines are not as apparent. So if you do Botox as an example, which paralyzes the muscle, then it unfolds the curtain. But it's a personal choice. Do you want to do it or not do it, right? So the neuropeptide, which is derived from a plant called Actimella oleracea, you see there's natural derivatives of everything. You just need to know what it is and how to use it, and how does it actually get into the skin. You put that serum on your skin and you don't exfoliate, you're wasting your money, because it's not actually prepared for the absorption of the peptide. You need to exfoliate. And if I had a gentleman's skin where the testosterone is more dominant, that skin is naturally thicker. So to say the peptide is going to go into to change what we talked about it through here, I'd be lying to you, because your skin is very thick. So if I'm going to tell you what to do in terms of exfoliating, absolutely a must. Change the cleanser a little bit, because I don't like the idea of what you're using. And then I would give you a conditioning agent that doesn't block your skin. But the challenge with a lot of people that have dryness seasonally is water becomes the problem in the morning.
But men exfoliate when they shave, women do not shave, so.
Except men don't shave their forehead, my dear.
Right, I know. Oh, you're talking about just this,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Right? So the whole point is really, what are we really trying to do for every individual? Males do age better than women, and women are judged more than men. This is the reality of what we live in, right?
Right.
So if you want to have a youthful appearance, it's usually about balancing out whatever weaknesses you may have so that your skin looks radiant and vibrant. Because when you look at young skin, it's plump. And the reason it's plump is because the collagen that they have is very abundant. The collagen molecule is like spaghetti strands in water. There's a lot of them, and it plumps up the skin. As you age, you lose the collagen, so you're losing the water content in your face. And if you have artificial edema, it's usually because you have a medical condition, like diabetes as an example, right? So who wants to get the test now for their medical certificate? Anybody?
I don't know
Sharon will
what
do
it-
it.
what it-
I'm gonna give you a test and I'm gonna give you a
But,
question.
but it's it's private
I
though.
thought you were talking about something.
Sharon will do it. Sharon will do it.
Okay, very good. And you'll do it with her, right?
Huh? I'm the host.
So test your pH, my friends, right? And the one thing we have in there that probably all women can use without any question is the topical cleanser in the pink line, because it's a gentle wipe. You can use a damp towel, washcloth, and if you're doing any sort of exercise or activity where perspiration is part of the equation, it's something you can do to remove the residue, kills bacteria, so therefore the odor is reduced, but it also has an ingredient called alum salt, which wicks away moisture. This replaces talcs, so you're not actually creating any issues with your body internally, right? And we use it a lot for people. If you're doing any sort of bikini waxing, we say to our clients, buy one of these. When you come in, go to the restroom, do a gentle wipe with a damp cloth, so you're prepared for your service. You know, you don't want to have an uncomfortable experience, but it's always nice to be clean, right? And you can go from back to front.
Nah.
Yes,
Really?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Back to front?
There was dinner there. There was a little squirrel there. Dinner. A little appetizer.
So what is best? Shaven, nair, or wax?
No.
Oh my God, I hate all of them. It probably IPL or laser is the best, but the most expensive is those. So the challenge is when you're dealing with darker skin tones, the thing we call the chromophore, the pigment in the skin, humans have 3 of them. Melanin, which is your skin color as well as your hair color, water, which we have through our body, and hemoglobin, the blood. And when we have darker skin that has a lot of melanin and their hair is dark, you risk burning the skin when you're using the more aggressive thermal energies. So you need to go to somebody that really knows what they're doing. Usually for black hair, the laser is called the Pico laser. You actually don't use IPL on black skin. Intense pulse light. She's an aesthetic, so I'm just giving her a little bit of
No, that's not
information.
her. She left.
Oh, I thought you were doing
She
something
left.
too.
Yeah, she
Oh, okay. But that's the challenge with black skin. Waxing can work to reduce the hair growth. There is actually an excellent formula we have. It's called ingrown hair serum. So if you're somebody that waxes, right, You use this right after you wax. It helps to prevent folliculitis, which is basically razor bumps and bacteria. And you only use it for a couple of days. Progressively, this will actually start to change the shape of the hair cuticle. So black hair is naturally wiry, and unfortunately it breaks really easily because it's a tendency for it to be dry. So you actually want to change the shaft of the cuticle, and the active ingredient that does that is called tiger nut oil. So this is a local treatment for people that wax. It could be underarms, bikini area, face. It doesn't make a difference, right? It's all in your pink line.
I wanted to,
Yes.
I don't know whether you're gonna mention it or not, but, using this product under your arms.
So the micellar cleanser can be used underneath the arm for those of you that are concerned about perspiration, because the alum salt is going to wick the moisture. So you don't necessarily, you can still use a antiperspirant, but you're gonna have something that doesn't stress the area, triggering an imbalance, right? So you put it in your shower. It's called cleansing foam. So you use it, and one pump is enough. You don't need to OD on it. It should last 6 months if you're using it once a day.
Because
Right?
I can't use any deodorants at all.
Hygieia. After you cleanse, Hygieia. Yeah, your natural antiperspirant.
Okay, Ms. Crystal?
So thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate you coming in. There's a lot of cake that needs to be eaten. Are you ready?
Did you wanna stay
Huh?
for less?
Was that all?
Did you wanna
Is
stay
that all?
for the consultation?
Do you hear this voice?
Oh, I read the ticket about your voice. I
Uh,
heard you.
Yeah, this has been going on for a little while
I'll be
now.
here, but I can do it with.
Yes, but if you have any specific questions, do you have any specific questions? You just like listening to me, don't you? I figured that was it. I have my
I like
groupies.
learning things.
I have my groupies. Do not follow me.
You're gonna interview with him, yeah.
Okay.
I know cops. But Thelma always has the products here, so if I gave you a recommendation, there, it's a starting point for you. It's not by any means the whole kit and caboodle, but you gotta start someplace if you wanna use her products. If you don't wanna start with anything, my suggestion is actually to have a facial with an excellent esthetician. She's very thorough, she's going to really pamper you. That's part of the reason why she's actually here. And you have to, you know, a lot of people go through their life and their careers and they stop because they no longer have a passion. But think about it, she's 52 and she's still doing it.
Say thank you.
That sound, oh, thank you.
That's all she gotta say. That would be nice.
Yeah, there we go. Next lifetime, right?
Yeah, yeah,
That's it.
yeah.
Thank you. You can
Thank
shut me
you.
off.
So
Everybody.
Miss Mariah is, going to have her.
Evaluation.
Yeah.
Okay, you related to Mariah Carey.
No.
Sing me a song. Anybody need to get any products, Thelma would be more than happy to get it. And you're gonna have an evaluation with
Okay,
me,
so
right?
the cleanser.
And it's.
Or are you going to have one with me?
I don't, I'm undecided.
Okay,